Between helicopters and planes, let me tell you. Buzz's Retirement Garage, the ramblings of a retired lunatic, episode 16. Why do I do these? I do them because I have a number of subjects that I want to talk about. Getting a lot more feedback from you, the viewer, about what you want to see. And I've had 2 to 3, maybe 4, I think it was 3 comments about what channels I watch. And so I want to tell you what channels I watch or what intrigues me, and my odd sense of humor, and then I also wanted to relate an update since T-Mobile sent us the text saying that they were going to charge us $10 more for our lines. If you remember, I'm paying $64 for 2 lines, which included tax. And they raised that up to $74 now, and it might even be a little higher because the tax might be higher. So I did call T-Mobile, and I said, hey, I'm sure you know why I'm calling, like thousands of other people. And, oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. And I said, so what are you going to do for me? I've got and I keep saying I had the Magenta 55 Plus, but that's not true. It's called the Essentials 55 Plus, which was unlimited for both lines. And he said, oh, you've got such a great plan. You've got such a great plan. And let me tell you, I don't believe so. Now, I think I kind of see what they're doing, I think. I think they're making a 2-tier system, sort of like Verizon is doing with Visible. Well, T-Mobile, who owns Mint Mobile, I think it's going to be like a 2-tiered system. If you're on the T-Mobile, expect to pay more. You're going to get more things for it. You're going to get the Netflix. You're going to get this or that. They're going to add apps for free. And that's going to be how they catch you to get you a higher rate. And then there's your Mint Mobiles and your Visible, which basically your unlimited plans are $25. If you're paying more than $25 for an unlimited plan, you're probably paying too much. But then again, that's just my opinion. So what we did was, me and Mrs. Buzz, I went ahead and got the Mint Mobile, which I just got the SIM card yesterday, and I went with the 15 gig only because if I'm doing lives out in the field, which I did that one by the river, and I only picked up 2 gigs. Now some of that may have been not just the live, but part of that was the live. So I went with the 15 gig instead of the 5 gig. So the 5 gig is $15 a month. For $20, you get 15 gig. Now for $25, you get unlimited. So I'm either going to go unlimited at 25, or I'm going to go all the way down to the 5 gig at 15. Make sense? So I'm going to go, they give you the 3-month deal. And after the 3 months, you kind of look at what your usage is, and that's what I'll do. So I'll play around with it and see where I'm at. And then I got Mrs. Buzz because she's got the Uma home phone, which goes off of our internet. She has that where she talks mostly on that phone. She doesn't really need her cell phone as much. So thanks to one of our subscribers, Noreen, told me about TrackPhone. And TrackPhone, I got her the $99 for a year for 400 minutes. And like I said, she's using the Uma. She's not using the cell phone as much, so that comes up to what? Less than $9 a month. So basically, we're going to be paying $29 versus $74. Hey, that's not bad. And we'll see how it works out. I'll keep you guys updated. Was it the right move? Was it a smart move? Now, we also have T-Mobile Internet. We were paying 40 with tax, $41.40, I think it was. He says it's going to go up to 70. Now, I knew that was wrong, but I wasn't going to correct him. He works for T-Mobile, for crying out loud. He should know. And T-Mobile has 3 tiers. They do have one that would charge you $70, but there's also a 4 tiers actually. There's a 60 and there's a 50 and then a 40 depending on if you have T-Mobile lines. So I'm anticipating we're going to go up $10 on the T-Mobile internet. That's what I anticipate. So my $29 now turns into $39 if you're following along with me, I'll be at $39 versus $74. So still a pretty good savings, but let's see how Mint Mobile and TracFone do for our situation. So the other thing someone was asking is, what channels do I watch? So I jotted down, and of course I'll forget some, but two caveats, okay? One, I don't, even if I watch them, I'm not going to tell you about channels that get into politics, because Buzz's Retirement Garage doesn't do politics. We might hit the border of it, but we don't do politics. So I'm not going to, I watch some channels that do politics, but I'm not going to bring those up. Instead, I'm going to bring up channels that I've been watching for close to a year since I got involved with this channel. My channel's actually 18 years old. Back then, I was filming, the kids in the school and different things like that, assembling a grill, just stupid stuff, metal detecting one day, I think. And that was 18 years ago, because YouTube just sent me a notification saying, hey, your channel's 18 years old, but theoretically, for the Buzz's Retirement Garage, it's only been since December of 2023. And I retired in the end of the September of 2023. So the channel technically isn't that old. So when I started to do the channel, of course, I was watching some other channels to see how I would structure mine. Dead of winter, right? December. And of course, there's two guys I always talk about. I see these two guys, and I said, hey, I kind of like this, and I think I like these guys, and I want to kind of structure my channel after them. Both of them have different personalities, as well as every other person that I watch. They have different personalities, but there's something I like about each one of them. Their character seems good. Their content is great. They get into different things, and I just enjoy watching these channels. And then I'll talk about some channels on the flip side of my board that are kind of specific to certain things that I like. So this is what I'll call the front of my board, is what I call my generic board. So these are the ones, my go-tos, that I try to see every day if I can, or whenever they put out a video, I should say. Let's see if keep that glare off of there. So, Dwayne at Retire Early 500K, he's out there in the LA area. He's got the beautiful lake and the mountains and the crows, or whatever they are, flying around. He's got a good channel, and he's the one that actually, when he's one of, there's not that many that talk about how much money they made on YouTube. And he was one of them that breaks that down. So when I saw that he could make, a decent amount of money by doing these videos and helping people with retirement, I thought, well, that's a kind of cool thing, because you can talk like I like to talk, and you can help people, and I like helping people, and you can make a little bit of green by doing it. So he got me going on that. I call him the Godfather. And then Steve's Retirement Corner, I call him the Master. He's in Virginia, and he's a super good guy, and I love watching his stuff as well, and he just does such a great job. Middle-aged Grind, young guy. He's the State Farm rep in Louisiana. He gives me a perspective of what the 40-year-olds are thinking. And he's raising his family down there in Louisiana. So he's a good guy to watch and just learn from. I'm 65. So I'm watching a 40-year-old guy because he's intelligent. He's, like I said, we talked to him about insurance questions and that. So he's a good resource for us, and he's a super good guy. Retired and Loving It. Now, the A-N-D, is not and on their channel. It's the and sign, but I tried to draw it. I can't draw it. Buzz cannot draw an and sign. So keep that in mind if you go to look at their channel. But they like to travel. Matter of fact, they just did a one today or yesterday that I haven't seen yet. They just went to a place and they'll film and talk to the owners. They're a great couple, retired and loving it. I can't remember where they're living right now. It just escapes me for some reason, but I like watching them. Down to earth, just good people. And so if you get a chance, check out Retired and Loving It. Amos Snow the Harley Man. There's just something that intrigues me about him. He's a retired guy. He's got what he's called the little building, and he just putters around and does his thing. And he just, there's something that intrigues me about him. I don't know, but he's kind of just like, I guess like me as far as puttering around and planting. He's got some plants starting. He's got he feeds the birds. He's feeding his cats, and he's just a down-to-earth guy too, and I just like watching his videos. And he usually puts out a short video almost daily, so it's not like one of Buzz's rants of 20 minutes or something. So Amos Snow the Harley Man. Hope to prosper. He's out there in California. He was in the tech field, and he's a good guy. Now the way he does his is he'll film, and then he'll dub in his stuff later, which is fine because he doesn't have a lot of breaks, a lot of things that annoy me. He does a smooth, and he's got a great camera too. Just everything he does is top notch, and I like the guy. Hope to prosper. Now, not good at anything. Let me get my paper over here, because not good at anything. Bill. Bill is let's see what he wrote. He, in his description on his videos, he says he's a nerdy, awkward, autistic scientist. Bill is cool. Now, I had a friend, Charlie, and he passed away 5-6 years ago. Long-haired, muscular dude. You know, he's always working out and stuff. Bill's like that. Bill's 67, I believe. And he's always got his shirt off working out in the sun in California, picking up rocks and making potato guns. And he is a scientist. He works for, I'm not sure who he works for. Let him tell you. But his channel, not good at anything. Kind of, he always signs off his stuff like, like, subscribe, because I want you to give me, help my ego, something like that, And he's just a fun guy. And like I said, he's in California. His wife passed away some years ago. He's a cool guy, and he's a good channel to watch. And that's not good at anything. Happy on Monday. She's newer to me. I think she's been doing it a year, maybe less. She does some graphics on the side, which you can kind of listen to her and read along with what she's got. I like that. I don't see many people doing that, so it keeps my attention. And she covers some good subjects too. And I like catching her once in a while when I can. And Jim's living the retired life. He's a newer guy. Didn't retire too long ago. He doesn't put out a ton of videos, but when he does, I like to watch him because he makes sense in what he says, and he's just another one of us that is going through this change, if you want to call it, from the working life to retirement. And it's a different kind of change. As if you're retired, you know that. 401k Dexter's, he doesn't put out as many videos as he used to, but he's in Texas. Good family man. He's got the grandkids. Just a good overall good guy. Another good guy to watch when he puts out content. Now here's some more specific type things. So World Money Wins. He's into gold and silver and not a fan of the American dollar, so to speak. So he stacks a lot of silver and gold, and it's just, I like listening to him and learning from him, the pluses and minuses of having gold and silver. He's buying stuff all the time. He's just very interesting as far as the gold and silver. And you should watch a gold and silver channel, at least one. Try to find one. Not to say, I'm not heavy into it. I did start buying it because of him. I picked up some silver. I haven't bought any gold yet. But he's doing like some a little bit of gold, like 1 gram every month, just to start to what they call stacking. Just stack it up. You know, at the end of a year, he's got 12 grams. So, and the price of gold keeps going up. So, you know, it could be an investment, but he's a good guy. Rob Berger, I catch him every once in a while. Repairs rule. I always screw that up because I always say repairs rule, but no, it's, yeah, repairs rule. See, I screwed it up again. But Dave, I talked to him on the phone for a couple hours one time. He's a real good guy. He's an entrepreneur. He's always getting into something, whether it be eBay or print on demand, and he's starting to do some videos about how to get involved in it, how to do it, what to look for. So Dave's a good guy at Repairs Rule. Retirement ain't easy. Now he's focused a little bit more on music side. So he produces his own songs. You have to check him out to understand what he does, but he's an interesting guy. And like I said, he gets into the music side of it, making his own music. He's got his own setup, and he's got a bunch of guitars and stuff. Real good guy. And he doesn't put out a lot of content, but he's starting to put out more and more. And these are more specific. I don't catch them all the time, but I try to catch them when I'm watching the others. Born to Retire Astro. So he doesn't eat clams or squid or mussels, just so you know. So write that down. He doesn't eat any of that. But he's got a sea star. And if you're into astronomy, he's the guy you want to see. I mean, there's a lot of good astronomy people out there, but he's got a sea star, which is probably the best thing to buy, or something similar to that, for astrophotography. So you can get a regular telescope and you look through the eyepiece, right? That's one way to do it. And then when you see all these pictures in the books of all these great pictures of the moon, the planets, and all this stuff, constellations and nebulas and all that, that's coming from something like a sea star, which takes and stacks photo after photo after photo. And he's got the sea star, and it's not that expensive. It's like $400 or something. And I'm looking very, very seriously at getting one very soon, to match up with my 8-inch Dobsonian telescope behind me, wrapped up in the plastic garbage bag over there. So, Born to Retire Astro, that's a cool channel. Dana's Garden Retreat. So she's got a little, some land over there in Georgia, down there in Georgia, and she posts, she got some small little gardens, and she posts periodically. She does a lot of shorts, and as spring comes, and she'll plant a lot of stuff, and she'll have her tomatoes, and she'll have different things growing, and she's just down home. She's real good to listen to, and I picked up some things from her as far as plants and some different types of vegetables and that. So she's cool. Dana's Garden Retreat. And budget stuff, save, repeat. Melissa, and this is interesting because I never knew about this. What Melissa does is she takes money from her, from her job. She's working, and she's a few years away from retirement. I can't remember how many. And her husband is, I think he's a few years away too. So she takes money, cash, and stuffs envelopes. So let's say she wants to have a vacation next year, and she figures it's going to be $2,000. So she'll start putting cash towards that, and they use these little stickers, and they do all this stuff. I didn't know it was a thing. Now maybe you ladies know, and some of you guys know about that, but I just thought it was kind of cool. Am I doing it? No. I mean, I do put money away here and there, but I don't do it like she does. But I just thought it was intriguing to me how she does it, how well she does it, and how she films it. So she does a great job there. And I know I'm missing somebody. Helen Can't Imagine. There's a few people. So Helen Can't Imagine. Didn't I write her down? I didn't. I missed that. So Helen can't imagine. She does a lot of, and I'll add a couple more. She does a lot of cooking, and she's in Tennessee. Um, Her husband passed away years ago, and she does some videos every day or every other day, and she's just really down to earth. Um, I just really appreciate how she comes across. She has a little book club thing going, and she's nice to check in with. Not long videos, she does things, short videos, but she's just very easy to listen to, and that's what a lot of these people are. They're just easy to listen to. Frugal Queen in France. I know I didn't finish this. Frugal Queen in France. If you ever get a chance to see her, her and her husband obviously are in France, and how they do things compared to the U.S. is interesting, really interesting. Like, I even commented a month or two ago, they'll take like ketchup, and they'll take their ketchup and they won't refrigerate it. If they open their ketchup, they just leave it in a cupboard. And I said, that's just weird, but that's how they do it. And like, we refrigerate everything, but they have a small refrigerator. Like, refrigeration in France is different than here. We got these monster refrigerator freezers. They don't really do that in France. And I've learned so much about their culture and how they do things compared to the U.S. So that's Frugal Queen in France. And then I watched two, when I was thinking about doing like DoorDash, or delivering groceries or stuff like that. I was thinking about doing that as a side job, pick up a few extra bucks. So I watched this one guy, and he doesn't seem to be driving much, but he's a good guy. He's got that English accent, and his name is Dashing Womble. Dashing Womble. And I also watch Vegas Ride Along. Now, Vegas Ride Along, obviously he's in Las Vegas, so he'll do films of videos of going and picking up stuff, and he puts a running total, how far he goes, how much he's making per run, what kind of issues he has on the run. And it seems like for him, a lot of those places in Vegas look alike, like the condos and certain apartments, and they don't have the addresses all everywhere. So you get all these 5 or 6, 7 buildings that look alike, and it's hard to decipher where you go. So that was so he's Vegas Ride Along, and I watch him too. Let's see if I missed anybody else. So a couple, if you're still with me, a couple other ones now near and dear to me because of some of bathroom remodeling teacher. I've been watching him. There's two guys. So it's bathroom remodeling teacher and home renovation DIY. I think he's up in Canada. But if there's something that you want to learn about, that guy's done it. And I like the home renovation DIY guy. I don't know his name, but he's really good. And he's, he tests paints. He just does all kinds of stuff. And he's got from drywall to painting to faucet. Just everything that has to do with home renovation, he's gotten involved in. And then, like there's Joe Kuhn, a lot of you know Joe Kuhn. He does some great videos as well. And Timothy Ward, he does some good videos. So there's a lot. I think I counted like 27 or 30 of these things that I try to watch. Since you asked, I told you. All good channels. All have a different specific thing, but I tend to watch like the Dwayne and the Steve and the rest of them because they're doing retirement like me, I think, a little bit, especially Steve. So, as he says, we just go out and knock around, and call it a day. So I'm going to call it a day. Thanks for paying attention to all these channels, and I hope you get a chance to frequent them and check them out and like and subscribe to them. A couple of them are close to, I think one's close to the Dashing Womble. He's close to 1,000 subscribers, and he almost has his 4,000 hours, so he'd be one to check out just to help him out to get monetized. So, Buzz's Retirement Garage, have a great Friday, and we'll see you tomorrow, Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, we do Buzz's Retirement Garage live. If you get a chance, come on by, stop on by. We'd be glad to see you. Take care.